What's up, everybody? Tobin here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on this video. Today we're going to do something that we've done before on another video, and it's time to do it again. And I figured I'd video it again and show y'all. And we're going to do a few things different than we did last time. I'll explain that when we get to that point. But mainly I wanted to answer a few questions that my last video produced. The last video on this topic has had, I don't know, 250, 300,000 views on YouTube and a lot of questions. So I want to take some time to answer those as well. All right, so what are we going to be doing? Today we are going to be treating the boards on my trailer for the second time using actually a brand new mop that I got at the dollar store and used motor oil. I change the oil in our vehicles usually myself, and I always have lots of used motor oil on hand to do so with. But first, before I get started, one question I may get is, why am I doing it again? I don't know that it needs it, but I got plenty of motor oil and I had the trailer out, so I thought I would just put another coat on there. That's the first question. Second, I want to get into some questions that the other video generated, see if I can answer a few things. So my last video, I'm looking at it now, has 283,000 views at this moment and has 423 comments. And there's lots of positive feedback. Lots of people talking about how they also learned this method from their grandfather, which that's how I learned it. My grandfather used it on fences, other kinds of wood to preserve it. Lots of positive feedback, lots of people think it's a cool idea and kind of reminiscent of their grandparents or older generations that did this. Very few negative comments, maybe a little bit on the environmental aspect of getting oil on the ground, which I hate to break it to anybody, but there's oil gets spilled on the ground every single day, lots of it, lots more than what I'm going to do here today. But there's essentially about 3 questions that I get on this video over and over and over again, so I want to answer them before we get started. So the first one is, what about the bottom? You gonna do the bottom? And to that, here's my long answer. I try to answer it on the video comments, but it's hard to answer. The way I see it, if I want to do the bottom, I have 3 options. I can disassemble the trailer, disassemble the deck boards, paint on the oil on the bottom, and put everything back together, which is a lot of work, and I'm not going to do that. 2, I can use a tractor or a crane or something to lift the trailer up to get underneath it, or flip it over, whatever, to get on the bottom side of it to do the bottom of the boards. I'm not going to do that either. The third option is I can lay on my back underneath the trailer where it sits right now, and then probably get more oil on me than I will on the trailer trying to get it underneath the trailer. None of those are good options. If I had an option to do the bottom of the boards, I would. But treating wood with stain and water treatment it has 2 purposes, 2 main purposes. It is to slow the deterioration of the wood from water penetration and from the sun. And the last time I checked, this trailer, the bottom of it, is getting 0 sun and getting minimal amount of water. Even if I were to haul this trailer every day of the year, the only time it was to get any water on the bottom of it will be on the occasion if you were to drive through a puddle and it splashes up from the bottom of it. I don't know if you've seen the inside of a 100-year-old barn, but if you haven't, the wood on the inside of that 100-year-old barn has faded a little bit and changed color, but the integrity of that wood has not changed at all if it's been dry inside that barn. And essentially, that's going to be the same thing on the underside of these boards. The integrity of that wood is not going to diminish. So the top side is what's going to rot out. The water is going to penetrate it. The wood's going to dry it out. Or I'm sorry, the sun's going to dry it out. The water will penetrate it. It will rot, and that process just continues to happen and continues to happen. And essentially, that's what I'm trying to prevent from happening. Another question I get a lot is it slick when it rains? And I would say slightly more than if it wasn't treated, but wood itself is slick when it rains. So yes, you add oil to it, it does make it more slick. But the oil soaks in, and then the excess you know, is washed off by rain or dries out, and it's not like it's an oily surface all the time. It's only really oily for the beginning of when you put it on there. After a time, it gets less and less. However, I will say, you can see the boards behind me right here. They look dry right now. We took this trailer to our deer lease this past weekend, drove down dirt roads, like legit dirt roads, and this trailer deck was like reddish color from all the dirt that stuck to it. So there's still some substance, some residue there of that oil. But again, it kind of goes back to the other thing. This trailer I use for recreational purposes mostly, and for, you know, when I buy lumber to do a project on my house or buy materials for a project on my house, stuff like that. I'm not climbing on it, strapping stuff down when it's raining. If you're worried about that, you know, you could put down some grip tape or something like that, maybe screw it down in the areas you'd be walking on, but I don't think it's a problem. Now, when I rinsed this off earlier, like I said, I got up on here and was standing on it, rinsing it off, and it wasn't slick at all. So for me, that's not a concern. If it's something that you're gonna be working and using the trailer daily, and you might be on it when it is raining, that's something to consider. But if you're hauling equipment and stuff on it, it's gonna get oil on it anyway. It's gonna have oil spots and other stuff on there. So it's not something I would worry about. So probably the third most common question I get asked is, will it get on your clothes? And the answer is yes. Now, I don't know, you know, like, I know if you had kids and they got up here and played around or something, that might be a situation where you'd be sitting down on it. You know, maybe if you're doing a hayride on it or something, people are sitting on it, I don't know. But yes, if you got, even today, I did this oil on this trailer, I'd have to go back and look when the video came out, 2 years ago. Even today, if you were to put white pants on and a white shirt on and roll around this trailer, you would have some, probably more dirt than oil, because there's still dirt on this even though I rinsed it off, but it would get on your clothes. But don't roll around in your trailer. Why would you do that? So that answers the 3 most common questions that I get. And again, a lot of positive feedback. I appreciate everyone's comments, and please comment below. Do you have you learned this method from other people in your family, like grandparents, older people, stuff like that? I want to hear those stories. I enjoy hearing those. And I use this method on pretty much anything that I'm going to put outside nowadays, with the exception of stuff around our house. But I built an archery target for me and my sons, did the whole thing in motor oil, built an outdoor shower for our deer lease, a lot of wood on it, did the whole thing in motor oil, and I've had great results from it. And I mentioned this on the other video, and I'll mention on this one as well. I have another trailer that's about 25 years old. I bought brand new. It's a shorter single axle trailer. That trailer is still in the back of my property right now. It still has the original boards that trailer came with, brand new. It still has them on there. And I treated it one time with motor oil a year or two after I bought it, and those boards are just as good as these boards are right here that are only 3 or 4 years old. A lot of people in the comments also said, well, let me back up. On the last video, I used about a gallon of diesel to thin out the oil with, and like I had mentioned earlier, the trailer that I did originally, the first time, that's 25-ish years old, I just did straight oil on it. Wanted to mix diesel with it last time to kind of thin it out a little bit, but a lot of comments saying, hey, you don't have to put diesel in there, just put it on straight, and I agree with that. I was just trying it, I guess, to try something new. But on today's video, straight motor oil. I don't even have a bucket handy. I'm just gonna pour it down on the trailer deck boards and then use this mop to move it around. Another thing that I get asked some on that other video is, what about the oil that goes through the cracks into the ground? Like I said earlier, the environmental side of it is, yes, it's gonna go on the ground. I'm on a gravel parking area next to our concrete parking area. I would not recommend doing it on an area that's nice in front of your house that would, it's gonna stain the concrete, stain the asphalt, stain whatever is underneath it, if it's not dirt or rocks or something. So I would recommend doing it somewhere off to the side, out of the way. So, but I'm gonna just pour this stuff straight on, use the mop to move it around, mop it in, get it really good. Try to get it to go down between each board really well, to get the sides well, because those do get a lot of rain on them from when it rains. So yeah, enough talking, let's get to it. All right, I got the first coat on. As you can tell, I was putting it on there pretty liberal. Wasn't holding back. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back one more time. And as you can see, there's a lot of these boards have big splits in them, like that board right there. And you know, like that board right there's got a pretty good split in it. There's one over there in the middle that's got pretty good split in it too. Like there and there. I got plenty of oil, so I'm gonna go back and pour oil specifically on those boards that are really split like that and try to let that oil soak down in those splits really well. Again, those are the places that are gonna rot first. That water is gonna get down in there, and then it's gonna start rotting, expanding, then the sun can get in there, and it's just kind of a vicious cycle. So all right, I am done with it. I'm gonna let it sit like this. As you can tell, there's some excess on top there that most of I think will soak in. If not, it'll get washed off the next time it rains. But underneath the trailer, you can see where it all went down there. Yeah, y'all, I hope this is helpful for y'all. Comment below, let me know what else y'all use motor oil on. I think this is something, if you got an old mop at your house, you could do this for free. It's a free treatment for your trailer. You're reusing motor oil, something that needs to be recycled. It's another way to reuse it. I think it's a win-win all the way around. So, and it's kind of cool just to get to reuse something like that. So, all right, y'all. If this video was helpful for y'all, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, leave us a comment. It just helps our videos get seen, helps us to be able to put out more videos. And comment below, what else should we treat with motor oil? That wood right there was treated with motor oil, I don't know, a few months ago, and it might need to be done again. So that would be one thing we could do. Like I said, our archery target that's way back there, you can't see it, motor oil. Done some our wood fence posts, not these right here, but other ones we've done with motor oil as well. So lots of uses. So comment below, what else can we use it for? Thank y'all so much. Appreciate the support, and we'll see y'all in the next video.